Are they gonna live happily ever after, Mama?
Of course.
It's not true love. It's not. Hi, I am back again being the most pessimistic person on this earth. The purpose of this video here, my dear children, is to go over the probability if these famous Disney animated couples would have made it past their happy ending or not. Now hold on to your seats. Hold on to your hats, because I already know that y'all are gonna come at me with a few questions, and I'm gonna lay down some rules here. Rule number one, sequels and third movies and the whatever's TV shows will not count for this video. I am excluding all of that. Those are not headcanon for this video. Essentially, in all the sequels, TV shows, what have you, they're still together past their happily ever after. So yeah, this video would be moot. I'm going based off of the probability of these two making it in the end after their happily ever after, based off of their one movie, the original movie, the original happily ever after. So bear that in mind for this video. Number two, the time period will not factor into this, meaning at least some of these did take place way back in the day, right? And so then if you want to have that argument, well, no, back in the day, it was very hard for people to get divorced. It was very hard for people not to stick together. They most likely, even if they didn't like each other, they probably will still be married. No, I refuse to make that part of the argument, because if that was part of the argument, then that just also, it makes this whole thing pointless. Third. What was my third point? I'm going to be going over mainly princesses, because if I were to go over every single Disney movie couple, it would be a lot. And for me, the main point of this video is to say, would they live happily ever after or not? Whereas in some Disney movies, that's not the main focus of the Disney movie. So I'm not going to include every single Disney animated couple, like 101 Dalmatians. It's pretty established that they're gonna be together. They have 101 Dalmatians, for crying out loud. Imagine. Spoiler alert for Pocahontas. Pocahontas will not be included because they did not end up together in the end. The way that I watched this movie just for them not to be included in this video. Imagine my surprise. Imagine how gagged I was when I went over an hour and a half of these two making out in the forest just for them not to end up together. Those are my rules. If you don't like it, sorry. I'm gonna be ruining some dreams today. I'm gonna be tearing some hearts. If you hate me, I understand. I am there with you. I really just want to have fun. Please don't actually come for me. Please take everything I say with a grain of salt. If I'm bashing on one of your favorite couples, I apologize. I apologize in advance. If y'all were bashing on one of my favorite couples, I would probably feel a type of way as well. Some of these are whack. Some of these don't make sense. Some of these are kind of goofy. And someone needs to say it. Someone needs to point it out here. And I guess it's me. I guess I am the villain of these stories. Without further ado, I'm gonna go from earliest to the latest. If some of these are out of order though, I apologize. Dim the lights. Here we go. First one, Snow White. Waiting on a wish for someday. First of all, we don't even know this guy's name. What is this man's name? I actually Googled it and I think he's literally just known as the Prince. Not even Prince Charming, not Prince Dashing, not Prince Charismatic. No, Prince. Imagine being just called Prince without being the actual singer. Snow White and Prince, let's be serious. No, I do not think they would make it past their movie ending. Reasons being, not just them not knowing each other, right? Because again, easily cop out. You can say yes, they don't know each other. Obviously, they will not last because what even? What even? The reason I believe they wouldn't end up together is because look at this scene right here.
Hello. Did I frighten you?
Y'all can hate Rachel Zegler all you want, but
Weird.
I mean, I get it. She is playing Snow White, so maybe she should have been more mindful, yes, about how she is talking about the film that she is now representing, yes. But me, I ain't Rachel Zegler.
It's Hollywood, baby.
I ain't playing Snow White, so I'm gonna talk candidly and say, look at the way this dude creeps this girl out right here. Look at the way this dude just listens to her singing, just intertwines himself, interrupts this girl's singing. Did she ask? Did she ask for this to be a duet? No, this is a solo, my guy. Step back, please. She was singing just by herself, and then out of the blue, this guy comes right next to her and starts singing as well. Homie, know your place. Okay, this ain't Glee. And then immediately she gets frightened. Immediately she runs away from him because no, I did not ask for this. I did not ask you to interject my solo. Let me have my solo moment. Could have at least said hi. Hi, may I join you? May I join you for this song? No. She does change her face a little bit here when she's hiding to indicate that she might be kind of interested. So yeah, maybe she's just a little bashful herself. But it was still weird. It was a weird way to introduce this romance between these two when she is running away from you and hiding from you. Is this not Belle running away from Gaston? Is this not mirroring Belle and Gaston? I'm just saying. That was a little weird. After that, with the entire movie, the entire 1 hour and 23 minutes of runtime, he is no longer shown until 5 minutes left of this film. So he wakes her up with a kiss, which again, I'm gonna try and be mindful, but obviously guess how absolutely creepy that is. This non-consensual kiss while she's sleeping. This is a theme for early Disney movies, that this also happens later on in Sleeping Beauty. Spoiler alert. True love's kiss can break the spell, I guess, even though you guys don't even know each other. How do we know this is true love? I don't know, but this girl literally spent more time with the 7 dwarves than this man. She might as well have ended up with Dopey. So no, even though he saved her life, I don't think that's enough merit to end up together and live happily ever after in the end. Sorry. Just because you saved my life does not mean I owe you. If anything, I will write you a thank you card, maybe give you $20. Thanks, goodbye. Don't contact me again after this, please. I appreciate it, but no. Why are we normalizing if someone saves your life, you automatically should get together with that person? What is that deal? Not even with Disney movies, but in rom-coms, that's a thing. That's a thing that sometimes happens. We're getting off topic. I don't think these two would last after their happily ever after. Point blank, period. Moving on. Next up, we have Cinderella. Now, this one is interesting. I went back and forth on myself with this one because there's points for both. To be honest, there is points for both if you look at it a certain way. Going to go out on a limb here and say yes. Say yes, I think they would have made it past their happily ever after. And no, not just because I saw Wish in Time, not just because I saw 2 and 3. I have reasons for this. Okay. So, number 1, I do find it very cute how she didn't even know he was the prince. So basically meaning to say that she was falling for a guy that could have been anyone. It wasn't even for his money or riches, even though it's freaking obvious that that's the prince, but whatever. Cinderella, I love you, but that was not your brightest moment, girl. Like, let's be so serious. He's the only man there besides the 2 old geezers in the back. Automatically, I do find that pretty charming. No pun intended. How she was already falling in love with this guy without even knowing his status. We also get that montage of them with the "this is love, so this is love." We get a montage. So it would have been nice, right, if this was made in modern times, which they have rectified this in live action Cinderellas now with modern times. We would have heard their conversations, right? Because we don't know what they were talking about, but it's fair to say that time's passing throughout the night for them to talk and get to know each other, I guess. We just don't hear it in this original version. But I would like to draw that conclusion that yes, they were getting to know each other and it probably was cute, but I'm only drawing that conclusion. And then in the prince's case too, it's adorable because he did not care. He did not care who she was either. She's just this normal, regular girl. And he's like, yes, I am in love. So that's pretty cute. The only thing I will say that's like a bit of a caveat for me personally is the fact that the prince was so lazy that he could not even go knock on the doors himself to see if he could find the girl and recognize her, because he was literally looking at her face the whole time.
What the fuck?
What? How lazy are you to be sending your servants with a shoe? With a shoe that could fit anyone. What if she was a size 7? 7.5. Do you know how many women are size 7.5? Anybody could have fit that shoe. I'm not impressed, because really, how much effort did it really take for you? If this is the love of your life, if this is that important to you, how much would it really take you to just get on them 2 feet on your carriage, being strung along by a carriage, and then just look to see if it's the girl that you fell in love with? Countering that, funny enough, makes me think that him and Cinderella would last simply because she is used to working so much and used to doing all of them chores. I think it would work. It sounds so bad, but like, let's be serious. And then the amount of work she would be doing in the palace, probably not as much as she was doing, obviously, for the stepmom. Okay, where the prince lacks, where he's more lazy, I guess, maybe he makes up for in other things, like his riches providing for her, I guess. If you want to look at it that way, it's definitely more of an old-fashioned take, for sure. Don't even get me wrong on that. But it works for some people, right? I'm not here to judge. Like, it works for some people. So I think it could work for these two. That's my take on it. A little bit of a hot one there. Again, I'm only going off of the first film. Sleeping Beauty, no. This is another one of those cases where they don't even know each other. I do know, okay, in the grand scheme of things with the parents, that they made that deal that their kids were gonna get married, and then this just ends up honky-dory for them in the end because, yes, they ended up falling for each other, and they ended up going with their pact or whatever. So I get it. I get that. But the way the romance goes about is just so odd to me, because he hears her singing. And again, this one is very similar to Snow White in particular, where it's also another prince that just hears this girl singing. And for whatever reason, that just instantly. This is the way Disney used to do it. It's just very odd to me. Why is it that this girl singing makes you fall in love? What is it about just singing in particular? It makes sense for the Little Mermaid because she's a siren, but why? If it was the voice of Whitney Houston or something, or Mariah Carey, I understand, sure, but it's just some basic girl sing. I don't know. She talks about dreaming of her Prince Charming, but then not actually meeting him. And then again, same way, like how they did with Snow White, he interrupts her while she's singing, and even more so, he grabs her from behind while she's singing. What? What are you doing? What are we doing here? I found this so creepy. I was watching this back, and I was like, why do we like that? Again, I know it's a kid's movie, it's charming, whatever, but looking at it from a different perspective, it is pretty weird. He's just grabbing onto her and singing along with her out of the blue. Did she ask? Did she ask you to grab her? Did she ask you to come sing this song with her? No. No, just because I'm singing my solo does not mean I'm asking for a duet. Please respect my solo. Then she also starts getting pretty freaked out. And then he keeps saying to her, well, yeah, you do know me from the dream. Like you said, I saw you in a dream.
What the is that supposed to mean, bitch?
I'm sorry, what dream? I'm sorry, are you Freddy Krueger? Because stop. Could argue, yes, that they're talking about that because the dream is them, that he knew her since she was a baby. So it's like, oh, is that the dream? Because they technically did know each other when they were kids. Maybe that's what it is. But we'll give Philip credit here because he does slay a whole dragon for Aurora. So that's great. He ain't lazy, that's for sure. It just wasn't enough for me, especially, again, like I said, with Cinderella's case, we at least got her and him talking in that montage that could have gone on for, I would assume, some hours there, and they could have really bonded and had good conversation there, whereas here they just dance for a little bit and then that's it. So yeah, what even is his personality other than being not lazy, obviously? What else, really? What do you guys have in common? Why am I invested? Why am I here? Why do you have me here? I don't really see any traits in both of you why I would assume that you would end up together and why you would live happily ever after. I'm sorry. This is also probably a hot take. I'm sorry for you Aurora fans, because I know you're out there. One of my best friends, she loves Aurora and Philip, so I apologize. I know there's you guys out there, but respectfully, I just feel like none of them have that much personality, really. I don't really get the appeal. Maleficent, I understand, because that's a very interesting character. I get why they did the movie, Angelina Jolie, but Aurora and Philip, to me, they're just so bland. I don't know, because at least with Cinderella, we knew how hardworking she was. We saw how determined she was. Whereas Aurora, she's sweet with the animals. Again, very similar to Snow White. I just don't know. I don't get the hype with these two personally, but that might just be me. The Little Mermaid. Now, this one I already went over in one of my videos. I might insert some bits from that here now because I already did like a full review on why I do not think Ariel and Eric would end up together, respectfully. Honestly, I love this movie. Don't get me wrong. This was one of my favorites growing up as a kid. Are you kidding? How many times I rewatched the VHS? VHS girlies? Anyone out there? VHS? Ariel and Eric, very simply put, would not last because bitch be serious. Ariel would learn how to work her legs and then learn how to use them real quick. He is the first man that she really laid her eyes on. And she laid eyes on him for all of 2 minutes. Saw him playing the flute and being nice to his dog, and then fell in love. Oh, they're so beloved. They're also hot for a Disney couple, yes. But the whole premise of them is so flawed. She looks at him and is instantly like, yes, I am in love. I am that much more willing to go to the surface because of this man. And yeah, I do know the whole backstory with Ariel, how she has always loved the human universe. She was always fascinated by it. Yes, that is canon. I get it. But Eric pushed her that much more to getting them legs. Getting them spreaders. Also the fact that she literally cannot talk the whole time. She's not talking. As Ursula said, you have your looks, your pretty face. Don't underestimate the importance of body language. Ha! Queening out with that song. This bitch couldn't talk for the whole time. What is Eric falling in love with? He's falling in love with a hot girl who doesn't know what she's doing. Ooh! Really put it in perspective there, please. He is falling in love with a girl who is hot, who shuts her mouth, and who is clueless. Look at his freaking face right here when he's letting his woman drive. That is the face of a man who will never let his woman drive ever again. So in my humble opinion, right, in theory, once Eric hears Ariel talk and that she has a mind of her own, is Eric still going to be attracted to her? Was the whole appeal to her the fact that she couldn't even talk? That he didn't get an earful every now and then? Because yes, Ariel has a mind of her own. Ariel can clap back, as we have seen her being able to clap back at her dad on multiple occasions during this movie. So we know that she has a mind of her own and she can speak it. She feisty. Ooh, she feisty. And I love that about her. I do. But will Eric be able to hold that down? That's questionable to me. I preferred it when you kept that mouth of yours shut. I'm sorry for ruining your guys' fairy tale. I'm so sorry. This is so mean. I'm sorry. Fast forward. Let's say she's accustomed to human life. Once she gets to knowing the world, then what? What is the charm now, Eric? Now that she's an educated woman and knows the earth, is she still charming to you? Alright, I'm tired of her being educated. I'm gonna leave. Gonna leave for another woman who doesn't talk and is more clueless. Also, Ariel is such a babe. Like, she's such an absolute catch. Yes, she scored a prince, but let's be serious. She could also score whoever else she wanted to. She could score Michael B. Jordan. She absolutely could. To add on top of it, though, because I did get a couple comments saying that, no, I think he loved the way she was so interested in the world, and he's also a guy that's interested in the world and traveling and stuff. I get it. I get that. At the very least, yes, I can give Ariel and Eric that they have that common interest in exploring. So yeah, they could very well explore the world together and have a fun time exploring the world together. But I have my points. I have my points on why that fish would not end up with that man. She'd end up as fresh tuna on his dinner table. Beauty and the Beast. Now this. Okay. This one's gonna be pretty interesting because I know how controversial these two are. I understand so many of you saying Stockholm Syndrome, Stockholm Syndrome. I get it, and I feel like what I'm about to say is going to be very off-brand for this channel. However, there's so many reasons why I do think they would make it in the end and that they would live past happily ever after. I'm sorry. I feel like it's so off-brand, but please hear me out. The reasons why I do think this is more than just Stockholm Syndrome and why I do believe these two are such a prime example of developing a true love and why they were such a game changer for Disney and true love and the way they show true love stories. Yeah, this one, pretty much the whole movie is given to this relationship. So you start off with Belle, right? She's a reader. And literally everybody in the town gives her grief for it. And I'm like, please stop. Please stop giving this girl grief for reading. We can't have an intelligent woman. Oh, we can't have women reading and being smarter. There's that, right? And she feels like she herself is an outcast and she's just meant to be some guy's wifey, essentially. And then this is where Disney broke the barrier in saying, nah, she doesn't need to be in those wifey standards. Nah, she could have a mind of her own and find someone who loves her for the mind of her own that she is, which, so good. She would actually rather live with a literal beast than massage your stanky feet. She goes, sacrifices herself for her dad. We already know the story. It's like, okay, I guess I'll have this fine piece of meat for me here, I guess. And they start off hating each other, right? Because he is just a beast and has been in that form for who knows how many years. My nose is just itching. What is going on? Like my actual nose. I'm so sorry. If you guys notice this, I'm not picking my nose. It's literally my outer nose. If I Could Fix Him was a movie, this is the original movie. She then eventually has enough of his temper. He just yells at her, so then she runs away. But then there's a pack of wolves that are out to eat her, so he actually ends up saving her, even though that was not necessary, right? He could have just let her get eaten by the wolves, right? He could have, but no, he saves her, which is nice. It's a nice gesture. And then as her own nice gesture, because she could have left, she was about ready to get on that horse and leave him to pieces. But nope, she made that conscious decision of going back and helping him out after saving her. And then I love that scene where when she's healing his wounds, she snaps at him, hey, watch your temper. Watch your tone with me, sir. I'm not gonna have it. So I love that. Belle puts him in his place. And you know what? He takes it. He shuts his ass down. That's great. That just goes to show more realistic of a couple where, yes, you probably will have your arguments, but boom, right then and there, she shuts it down. She's just like, no, you're going to listen to me. You're not going to talk to me that way. And boom, he doesn't talk to her that way anymore after that. After that, he changes his tone and he watches his temper around her. Boom, progression, right? We love to see progress. He learned his lesson. So for me, that was a great lesson in itself of how, as a couple, maybe you start off with different communication styles. It's probably obviously not the best to yell at each other. That's not great. But basically showing how you might start off on the rocks, but then you can either grow together or grow apart and learn to improve on yourselves or not. And so this just goes to show the growth that the Beast was willing to have for Belle and to improve on himself for Belle. Sorry, y'all just love to hate. Y'all just love to hate and call it Stockholm Syndrome. I'm not having it. And afterwards, we get them falling in love and him being absolutely cute. And then he does that really sweet thing where he shows her the library, which just, again, goes to show how he is appreciating her and loving her as a person rather than shutting her down and shaming her for a passion she has, like how everybody else was, and how he's accepting of her and loving of her and who she is. So, love that. Love that. He supports his smart woman. How do we not love that? I'm sorry. I love that. Get their whole romance, but then I see why people might have issue with this. Technically, she still is his prisoner, but not really. I don't know. At this point, it feels like she's more there in her own will, but then I guess not, because she does look to see her father. She's like, I wish I saw my dad. And then he says, yeah, you have your freedom. You can go. I get that, okay. In my humble opinion, I saw her as more being there on her free will after the whole wolf incident, but I guess she wasn't. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say with that one. But either way, he says she can go see her father. And she does. And then we get the whole climax where she chooses to come back, where she finds out that they're all gonna freaking kill this beast. And then she's just fully in love with him at this point. And I think they would make it past their movie ending because, yes, he learned to grow with her. She learned to love him as well, with him growing to being a kinder, sweeter man with her, and then him supporting her for who she is and not shaming her like the rest of the town, that she feels comfortable in her skin and comfortable in herself around him. So to me, I feel like they would for sure make it past their movie ending. I'm sorry if y'all find that controversial, but those are all my reasons. I appreciate the story with it being a romance where they were at odds with each other to begin with and then slowly learned to love each other. I am so for that. And then it also goes to show them problem solving too, critically problem solving, how they are able to grow together as a couple, because again, thinking more in mature themes, how couples do go through obstacles, and it's those tests that really prove if you're able to make it as a couple or not, if you can get through your hard times or not. And they made it past their hard times at the beginning of him being an absolute beast. They grew together after that. So I absolutely think they have it in them to make it past their movie ending for sure. Next, Aladdin. Prince Ali, I can show you the world. This one might be controversial. This whole video is controversial. But please hear me out also with this. I was rewatching this one and I noticed something and I thought to myself, ooh, that's a point. That is a point right there, and I'm going to see again how this follows through in the ending, and I think that point still stands. I apologize, but I'm going to say it. I do not think they would make it past simply because of this one scene. I want y'all to pay attention to this scene because I do think it is important. I do think it's relevant. We have Jasmine here, right? She wants to see the world. Body snatch, body tea. Can I just say also just absolutely unfair for an animated character. Why did they draw her that sexy? Why did they do that? I want to know which Disney animator did this. But anyway, she is stuck inside her palace and feels trapped being stuck inside that palace. So she wants to go see the world. She's tired of living that glamorous life. Nah. Having servants come at your beck and call. No. Eating $1,000 meals. No. Going to live with peasants and rummaging around like a street rat. So Jasmine likes all of that. However, Aladdin is tired of stealing, is tired of being street rat, pack rat, street rat. He's like, I'd rather live a lavish lifestyle. I don't want to be poor anymore. I don't want to be a broke bitch. They have two opposing visions right now where one of them wants out while the other one wants in. So they meet each other with him not knowing that she's the princess, but he just thinks she's hot. The way he helps her out is really cute. I do really like their intro scene where, you know, she goes along with his buffoonery. I think that's great. I think their personalities are really great. which is why I was having a hard time with this one, because I'm like, I think their personalities complement each other really well naturally. But once they go back and have a private conversation between the two, get to know each other more, she's talking about how the palace isn't that great. But then he says how he doesn't see how that could be tiring. He would love to be in the palace. While they have commonality of not liking where they're at, they have opposing dreams. And so for me, despite them having their romance and having great chemistry, may I add, he shows her the world with the magic carpet ride, and then she realizes, oh, it's you're the street rat boy. You're rat boy. She falls for him. And he has a lot of great qualities too. He's smart, he's quick-witted, he's strong, he's a fighter. I love Aladdin. He's a great guy. But when it comes to their visions, I struggle to believe that they would make it in the long run, because by the end, Aladdin is a prince next to Jasmine, or Sultan if you want. He's in the palace next to Jasmine, so he got what he wanted with his overall vision, his overall dream of being in the palace one day. However, Jasmine did not get her dream of leaving the palace and leaving all of her responsibilities and duties, because even though you could argue, okay, she's still tied to the palace and she's still a princess, but now she has Aladdin, they can go and have fun together on the streets with his street knowledge and all that stuff. Sure, but ultimately, was her dream not to just get out of the palace? Initially, she never talked about true love and wanting a true love to show her the world and things like that, right? She was talking about feeling caged and feeling like a trapped bird in her home, and that she's tired of the palace lifestyle and the glamorous lifestyle. She would rather be out there in the world and not having those responsibilities and all of that burden on her anymore. So for me, I feel like it might catch up to Jasmine, where one day she'd be like, no, I don't want to be princess anymore. That's it. I want to be living on the streets like a normal person. Meghan Markle, Harry Styles. Harry... What is his last name? Oh my God. I want to live like the normal people. I want to live like that. In my humble opinion, would it not make more sense for her to end up with a guy that is in the streets and that is happily in the streets and likes being there and likes being amongst the common people and may not have the most lavish lifestyle, but is happy with where he's at? Would she not want someone more like that? Whereas Aladdin, he wanted to be in the palace, and he is more than happy being in the palace, it looks like, right? So I feel they would not end up together in the long run, and they would not work out in the long run, because she would want that. Her dream hasn't been fulfilled. She still is trapped in the palace. Even though with her boy now and the carpet, she still is there. She wants to be a rat. Let her be a rat. Hercules! So this one's funny because she's technically not a princess. I did want to include them though, because it is quite main in the story and they are quite the iconic couple. I wanted to throw them in here. And so for me, I actually put them in here as yes, because of, again, the growth. I do appreciate it, again, when you do see growth, even if it's within the movie. I appreciate any kind of growth you get. Please don't hate me for loving growth. I love this one because it's Meg more so that grows when it comes to her relationship with Hercules anyways, and her as a person though too. Because Hercules, he's on his own journey, right? He's on his own path of trying to become a hero. Whereas Meg, she was wronged. She was done dirty by some dude in the past. So she's vowed herself basically to close off on love, and basically has that baggage carrying on with her right now, right? So for me, I did really appreciate the fact that she was letting her guard down for Hercules and allowing herself to feel love again with Hercules, and not bringing in that baggage to him, but more so learning for herself. No, I won't say I'm in love. Girl, who are you fooling? Honestly, look at that chiseled, fine specimen of a man right there. After she sings that song, she's in denial that she's in love right now, but she still will not go through with Hades' plan. She still refuses. No, I'm not gonna do this to this guy. I'm not, because yes, she's willing to protect him that much because she is now fallen in love with him, which is great. And then she even goes through with, even after he finds out about her and Hades' scheme and he's upset with her, she redeems herself by literally sacrificing herself for Hercules and said the crazy things you do for love. So cute. And then he sacrifices himself too to save her. So that's huge. But I think the main point for sure for me here is the fact that she did have her own self-growth with Hercules and was able to let her guard down with him and didn't let her baggage carry through. It did make her close it off and being scared to fall in love again, of course, but she ultimately did allow herself to feel that and did allow herself to go as far as to sacrificing herself for Hercules, which if she still carried that baggage, obviously she wouldn't have done that because she'd be like, no, he's probably just like other men and is gonna hurt me like that guy, so I'm not gonna sacrifice. Why would I sacrifice myself for a guy again? She easily could have had that attitude, but she didn't. I do believe these two would make it past their ending because he found what he wanted. He found his happiness, his acceptance, and he found someone who loves him for who he is as well. So I think they would make it past their happily ever after. I truly do. Also, why did she keep swaying her hips like that? Why did she keep swaying her hips like that throughout the whole film? Like, Megara.
Let me see the hips swing. And let me see your hips swing.
Mulan. This is a funny one because I have seen the debates here. Is Li Shang. You can't assume this man's sexuality, but also he's an animated character, so I think it's all fair game. I wanted to say yes. I did really want to say yes. And the reason that I'm saying no here, is not because of, not because of that. Easily, I could replicate what I was saying for She's the Man in my other video because I also made this point of, maybe he just wants a dude. Maybe he low-key just really wants his twink. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. But for the main reason why I don't think these two would make it past their movie ending, there's the fact that she dressed up as a man and he did support her in the end, which is great. It just shows that he's not as misogynistic as those out there. He's more open-minded, but maybe he's more open-minded because he's... Yes, he embodies qualities I could see Mulan liking in a dude, with being this strong leader who isn't lazy and hardworking. But there's also a lot of other hardworking guys that they prove themselves in the "Be a man, you must be swift as a coursing reaper." Everybody else also proved themselves there, so there's a lot of men out there that aren't lazy that will fight. What else does Li Shang really do? What other qualities does he have other than he ended up supporting her in the end with taking down that bad guy? But also, if he didn't do that, so many people would die, so you have no other chance. But also, as soon as she reveals herself, he's still not, and again, I know it's the times they were in that movie, right? But he wasn't as defending her. He didn't kill her, which, good. I mean, bare minimum, thank you for not killing me. What, am I supposed to thank you because you didn't kill me? Bare minimum. Him saving her life, it's an act of mercy, and you could see it as, oh my gosh, well, he saved her. But no, he says, a life for a life, my debt is repaid. And he says it almost shamefully, like, oh, I guess now we're eating. He's a little spicy about it, so I don't appreciate that. And then afterwards, the guy is trying to pressure him to kill her, and he says no, but still, you know what I mean? He could have been more, hey, well, even though she's not a man. She did just save all of our lives. So no, there could have been more. And he's pressed about it because even when she does come back and try to warn him initially, he's like, why should I trust you? Why should I trust you? He caves eventually when it's down to the nitty gritty, but I feel like her friends were more on her side immediately and they had the right attitude. They were the ones that were more upset when they were riding through the city and that they seemed more distraught that they didn't have her there with them. They seemed to more so have her back. And then when she had the plan, they were there with her. And it wasn't until later that Li Shang showed up to support her because, yeah, you're going to look like an absolute ass wipe if you don't support your woman. I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling it between these two. I don't think they would make it past their movie ending. That's just me. I think even though he did support her afterwards, I would feel like he would still have a little bit of misogynic tendencies. I think so. Even after her saving your life, he still had an attitude. I don't appreciate that attitude. You shouldn't have had that attitude, Li Shang. Get over it. She's a girl. She has breasts. Beautiful breasts.
Who is that boy? Yes.
Tarzan. Yeah, I think these two would make it. Why? Because Jane's a monkey man. Jane is in love with her monkey man, and gosh darn it, if she ain't having it with a monkey man, she ain't having it with anyone. She loves her gorillas. She grew up watching King Kong and said, yes, that's who I want to be. That's my inspiration right there. She a little freak like that. She a little freak like that. She a little toe-loving freak like that. Initially, she's put off by him, right? But then they learn to communicate. And she is all about the animals. She loves animals that she might as well herself date an animal. So they're literally perfect. She's like, do I want a barbaric man who doesn't even know how to clip his toenails? Or do I want Tarzan? Because honestly, at that point, her options were dudes like Clayton. Really? I would pick the Neanderthal too. I'm right there with you, sis. Compared to what's on civilized Earth. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame her. She's better off with a monkey man. They learn how to communicate with each other. He learns how to talk English, so they can communicate. But he also shows her the jungle, and he's very much happy with his lifestyle in the jungle. Doesn't really care to go to civilization, which we see in the end that he stays with his monkey family there. But then Jane herself is so in love with the jungle as well. She makes all those drawings. She gets so interested and into it when she's there with the monkey. She loves all of that. She loves the wildlife. So yeah, it does make sense for her to stay there with Tarzan and not care to go back to civilization, because what else do you got there? This is her happiness. This is her passion. So yeah, I absolutely think these two have what it takes to make it past their movie ending, for sure. They're both passionate about the earth. What more could you ask for that? He saves her from a pack of wild baboons. It's great. This is cinema right here. Man saves you from baboons, marry him. Moving on. Atlantis, Milo and Kita. I actually also think these two have what it takes to make it in the long run, because Milo too, I think he's such a humble, goofy guy, right? I think his personality actually goes really well with Kita's because she's adventurous and explorative. She challenges Milo. There's instances where this just makes him go on these adventures with her, and he does. But it challenges him, and he appreciates it too, because he ends up tearing up at one point. They both complement each other really well, actually, with her being an adventurous person and him being this humble, kind guy who respects and appreciates her culture, but also is brave too, because easily they could have played into that stereotype of, oh, he's this nerdy guy and he's shy and awkward, doesn't have a backbone. He does have a backbone. He does stand up. Once he sees them dudes, I forget his name, but once he sees the guys trying to do their schemy evil plan, he's like, nah, do not do that. I don't want you to do that. I'm not going to stand by that. He has a mind of his own. And he goes above and beyond to try and help Gita's people and save her land and her culture and her people. So I love it. I personally feel like these two are underrated, and I think they deserve more praise. And I do think that they would make it past their movie ending for sure. Don't underestimate my other body snatched girl, okay? What are you doing, Disney animators, truly? This is why we have unrealistic body stats. I blame Disney. How about that? Because truly, how do you get that snatched? Not me being jealous of a cartoon. Enchanted. Now, Enchanted, I'm gonna actually have to say no on this one. You know why? Because he had basically a literal fiance, someone he's been with for years. And then it's that same case, and can I just say I hate this trope because it's happened more than once. Again, I just went through this with the wedding planner in my other video, but I'm gonna say it again here. I don't appreciate some dude being with this girl who's perfectly fine, perfectly nice, and has been with her for years, and ends up falling for this new girl, this new piece of eye candy out of the blue, because he's never felt this way before. Because she's bringing in something new to his life. I hate that trope. I think it's ridiculous. Yes, it doesn't mean it's not true. I'm sure there are people out there. Like, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge you. It's more so just the way these movies do it that just annoys me. Obviously, depending on your situation, whatever. I personally don't know anyone who's gone through that, but I'm sure there's people who have. But to me, whenever I see this done in a movie, it just screams to me not wanting to settle down, essentially. Being too scared to commitment issues. Because here you are, committed to this girl, and then ready to have her as your fiance. He was ready to propose to this girl. And then you have this new eye candy that is exciting to you and showing you things you've never been shown before, and it's exciting. That's the thing, because they're shown to be exciting, and Giselle is exciting to him, obviously, because she comes from a make-believe land and is a princess from a make-believe land and doesn't know anything about New York City, and it's rats. So yeah, she's gonna be exciting to you because she's literally excited with the world and what it is, just like Ariel was excited for the world and what it is. For me, it just never settles well with me, because you were probably happy with this person enough to propose to them, to make them your fiance. The way he describes it obviously sounded more like, oh, okay, yeah, I like her well enough, and it's time for me to settle down, so I should. I get it. In the movie, they make it sound not as romantic. Yeah, maybe he isn't as in love with her as he thought he was once before. But now that you get a shiny new toy that just diminishes all of those years that you built with this person? No, I hate it. I'm sorry, I hate it. I just can't stand that trope, personally. Again, we're not thinking about the sequels. Let's say the sequel never happened. Think about in 10 or so years, maybe even before 10 or so years, when Giselle is used to human life and isn't shocked at the world and doing all of her fairy tale things with the world. Patrick Dempsey, are you not also gonna get tired of her eventually, that she's not as exciting anymore and not showing you new things anymore? Just me. It just screams that you're just looking for the next exciting thing when you're bored. That's just what it screams to me. I'm sorry. Princess and the Frog. Look me in the face. Look me in the eyes when I say this. Absolute 100% yes. This is prime Disney starting to learn how to write romance. Oh no. Oh no. It's okay. No, it's okay. Oh, they're such a resounding yes, and I love them so much. I so love how people are starting to appreciate these two more now, because I feel like when Princess and the Frog was first released, no one really talked about this thing, and it's so good. It's so good. This was when Disney was first, I think, really amping up their romance game and really starting to fully develop romances instead of just having it be half-baked. I mean, I did just talk about Enchanted, which was more a fully fleshed romance, but it was mostly live action, so I'm talking more about the the 2D one. Prince Naveen just wants to live life the easy way and just have his riches the easy way. He's a pretty lazy guy. This is almost like the antithesis to Cinderella. The way I'm so pressed about Prince Charming being lazy when there's literally not even that many sides to him being him. It's really cool because he starts off being relatively lazy and privileged, and Tiana is opposite and not privileged and very hardworking and super determined, and I absolutely love Tiana and her hardworking nature. And her number one goal is to obtain this restaurant in her father's name so that she can live out her dream and her father's dream, essentially, which is beautiful. She has turned into a whole frog and meets Naveen as a frog, where he's a prince that is turned into a frog. They have to go through this whole journey to try and figure out how they can become human again. But while they're on this journey, they fall in love with each other, and it's so cute. He learns to love her hardworking nature, but then he also is able to get her to relax and enjoy life more because she's all about the work life, but doesn't know how to breathe and take a minute to just enjoy things. He provides that for her, whereas Tiana brings to him to not just be lazy all the time and just think that there's no work and all play, but there is work to be done, and gets him to learn how to be more hardworking and learn how to not be lazy, to become more motivated. So they both learn things from each other, which again, I always love it when they showcase that in a Disney couple. He learns how to mince. And then he goes as far as to being self-sacrificing, where he's willing to marry this other woman that he doesn't love as a princess in order to help Tiana get the money that she needs to get her restaurant so that he could make Tiana's dream come true. So it's so sweet. It's so sweet. They end up still being frogs because they couldn't get the kiss on time. But then when they end up getting married as frogs, they end up turning back into humans because she married a prince that makes her a princess. So that breaks the spell. It's so cute. It's so cute. In the end, he helps her build the restaurant. You see them working together and him helping her build the restaurant. I love Tiana and Naveen. They also have the banter. They have the witty back and forth. They end up problem solving together. It's just so good, and they're so supportive of each other. It's just, I love it. I love that. Last two couples. Do I even need to explain? Disney really found more of a formula, I think, when it came to their newer romances for sure. So I think it's fair to say with these newer ones, I would assume that they would make it past their movie endings, to be honest. Especially with Tangled. Flynn Rider, I already have a whole video about him. You can go check that out if you haven't checked it out already. But the relationship with him and Rapunzel is just unmatched, truly. I wish they did another romance like this. Yes, absolutely. Flynn and Rapunzel are love. Flynn and Rapunzel are life.
Please cite me if you disagree.
He was a thief, that he was a liar, a schemer, manipulator at the beginning, to then learning to become more of an honest human and having better values and priorities, because he only valued money at the beginning, but then he ended up valuing Rapunzel. Him growing as a character, but also growing with his love with Rapunzel, that he let his guard down as well. He opened up to her that his name isn't actually Flynn Rider, it's Eugene Fitzherbert. And by the way, if you're watching from the last video, those of you who came for me of not saying that his real name is Eugene Fitzherbert, you best believe I knew, okay? I knew his name is Eugene. I just talked about Flynn Rider because that's just what he goes by for majority of the movie is Flynn Rider. I just want y'all to know, I do know his name, okay? But yeah, he lets his guard down with Rapunzel, and she also lets her guard down with him. He shows concern over her when she talks about going back to the tower, that she's never left the tower, and he gets concerned. He's like, and you plan on going back? And that's just so sweet. And he does take her to see the lanterns. They spend the whole day together in that montage, and we see they probably are growing even more closer together during that montage with spending the day together. He goes as far as to getting her the prime seats for her birthday for the lanterns. Someone else mentioned too, they notice how he's paying for things during the day too, whereas he most likely would have been stealing before getting to know her. But now that just goes to show his character development and growth while learning to love Rapunzel, that he's starting to pay for things now. So that was sweet. That's a sweet detail too. I love that. And then obviously by the end that he's self-sacrificing so that she wouldn't die and that she could live a free, happy life without Mother Gothel is just... Oh, you're my new dream. They just don't make it like this anymore. Why don't they make it like this anymore? I love it. Oh, I love it. And then their personalities, they just go so matched. She's more of a dorkable person, which makes sense because she's been locked away in a tower for so many years, so she doesn't really have natural social skills, but she's humble and cute and sweet nonetheless, whereas he's more charismatic and charming and snarky. I love how their personalities go together like that as well, where she's the sweetness and he's more the spice. More of the spice. Everything about them, resounding yes. Plus, he has a thing for brunettes. And lastly, Frozen. Do you want to build a snowman? Anna and Kristoff, yes. From Frozen 1, again, I'm not counting Frozen 2, but from Frozen 1, yes, I do believe that these two would have made it past their movie ending anyway, simply because this one is more of one of those cases where I actually believe they're more similar, and with them having more similar personalities, they work well together instead of being different, which it happens too, right? Like there are couples that are similar to each other and it works. So for these two's case, I do believe they would make it because they're both adorkable. Kristoff, I also talked about him in my Kristoff versus Flynn talk. Please don't at me for that, because I think they're both wonderful in their own separate ways. There's a whole fixer-upper that just showcases that he's just a guy. He's just a chill guy. And he is so supportive in there for Anna. This one definitely was less of a focus on the romance with the whole sister story, of course, but with what we were given, with those bits and pieces, I would think that they would make it past their movie ending. Yeah. He's loving. He's loving for Anna. The couple. And that, my loves, is it. We have just gone through all of the animated Disney couples, of main couples, mostly princesses, that I think would or would not make it past their movie ending. Let me know if anything was controversial. I'm sure I did say some controversial things. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry again. I'm so sorry in advance. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. This was all in good fun. I was obviously trying to be somewhat critical with these, but also, it's for fun. Let me know if you respectfully disagree with me on anything. That's why we're all humans. We have different opinions, and that's okay. Please continue loving your couples. Continue loving your couples. Don't let me tell you otherwise. Don't let me destroy your happiness, please. If you love a couple, love your couple. I support it. Let me know if you like this format too of going over a film studio couples, I guess, because I also could do this, I guess, for Pixar ones, even though it wouldn't be the main focus love stories, because most Pixar couples aren't really main focus. I would say there's more so side Pixar couples, like it's not the main focus of the story, but I could do this again. Oh yeah, there's DreamWorks. Oh yeah, there's also DreamWorks couple. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you guys like this, if you like this format. If not, I just did it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Mwah.